Today we're going to be working on a 2000 Honda Accord. It's showing signs of not having any heat. Our radiator hose is back on. We'll squeeze that bad boy back on. Like I said, very weird working in my garage with no music. I'll get used to it. Squeeze this. These little pinch clamps are kind of a pain in the butt. There is a specialty tool for these, but I'm not spending the money on that. Maybe I'll ask for it for Christmas next year. Alright, so get it over the lip. You'll feel it. You kind of got to get it over the lip of the housing. There it goes. And just give it a good tug. Make sure it seats good. So you don't want any leaks, because that would be a pain in the butt to deal with. There we go. There we go. Nice and tight. It's over the lip. You can feel it. If you run your finger over the edge, you can feel it. Let's see if I can get you guys over there so you can see what I'm talking about. Just to save you the headache. So, see, you run your finger right here. You can feel the lip, the housing. Now, like I said, when I undid all the wiring and stuff, yeah, they can only go one way. It's not too complex, too hard to figure out. Like I said, yep. Trying to plug back in all the wiring. Like I said, this doesn't go. It can only go one way. So say they're different shapes. They can only go one way. Like this one's not going to plug into there, obviously. So it's got to be this one. You know. Same thing with this guy. Obviously, it's not going to plug in there. It's not going to plug in this one because it doesn't reach. So it's got to go to this. You know, just take your time. Especially if you've never done it before. You want to make sure it's a secure connection. It clicks. It's held in place. I only removed it just so I can get a good shot for you guys. You don't have to remove this stuff in order to gain access to this, but it's just a lot easier, and I can show you, you know, the process of doing this. So just double check. Yeah. So this guy was down here. There we go. This guy. All figured out. Everything plugged back in. Alright, that's pretty much it right now. I'm going to see what's the best shot for you guys to see how to do the temperature sensor. These are important because if they're not working properly, this is the sensor that goes to your ECU in these Hondas, and it'll mess up your fuel mileage. It'll give you inaccurate readings on your temperature gauge on your dash. It'll be very sporadic or flutter a little bit, and these things fail. This is an aftermarket one. I can tell by the color of it. I know, you're like, how can you tell? Because that color is different than the stock one. See? This is the stock one, which is black. That one's gray. So when I pull that one out, I guarantee that these part numbers probably won't match because this is an aftermarket one. It seems to be the trend of this vehicle. Out of aftermarket parts, probably whatever you can find at AutoZone or whatever your local auto part place is. But all right, I'm gonna hit pause for a minute, and I'm gonna clean up some of this, get you guys a better shot so you can see what I'm dealing with. Let's get to changing out this engine coolant temp sensor. I think they call it the ECT, if I'm not mistaken. Looking at it, looks like it's 19 millimeter. So we have a 19 mil. Open and wrench, nothing fancy, and unplug it so we got a little bit more access. Okay, I'm gonna bring you in here first so you can see what I'm pointing at. This bad guy right there. Like I said, I can tell it's aftermarket because it's not the same color as the original. The original has a black housing. This one's obviously gray, but I'm gonna swap it out anyway. It's probably due. It's 20-something years old. So let's try to get this off without killing my fingers, because that's usually what happens. Alright, no busted knuckles. So we'll pop this on. Shouldn't be too bad because it looks like it's brassed into aluminum. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. What's up, buddy? Why are you whimpering? Talking to my friends. What do you want? I'll put you on camera in a minute. Hold on. He loves the camera, so he whimpers every time I talk to you guys. Just like everything else, it's tight, so just take your time and get it out. Not a big deal. I opened the garage doors for him because he was whimpering. He wanted the sun. So, all right, hold on. Come here. You want to come on camera? What's up, buddy? Hey, what? You want to say hi? You're okay. Go play in the sun. All right, buddy. You're a good boy. Go play. Puppy intermission. So, set you guys back up. So yeah, I'm just unscrewing this. Put the new sensor in after we get this one out. This one's gonna fight you to the very end, I can tell you that, just because of how old it is. 1/4 of a turn every time. You know, fun, fun, fun. The joys of working on old vehicles. I'm sure you don't want to see me do this for the next 10 minutes, so I'll come back in a couple minutes when I get it out. All right, back. Got it out. You can see there's an O-ring on the end of this. Yeah, it crushes when you put it in, which the new one comes with a replacement anyway. Same as the thermostat. Just make sure your threads are clean. I'm gonna clean that with a shop towel, get it nice and clean, so we got good contact and everything. And then we'll pop that in. Once again, I don't know if I showed you. This is the part number for the OEM one. OEM Honda. Go with the Honda parts. Can't say it enough. You're gonna have issues if you go aftermarket. A little bit. I don't know how much you guys can see because it's kind of tight in here, but just cleaning the threads out. Trying to get as much crud out as I can so I don't have any issues. Yeah, see, the new one comes with an O-ring. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, there you go. So it comes pre-installed, which is nice. And it's just like how we took it out. Just throw it back in. Put the new one in. There's really no specific torque spec on this. I usually thread it all the way down finger tight, and then I do like 1, maybe 2 full, actual rotations on the wrench. There's not a lot of room to work with anyway, so you can't get a lot of torque or leverage on it. But it's obviously a brass sensor going into aluminum, so you don't want to put 200 foot-pounds of torque on this thing. Just don't go crazy. You'll have a bad day if you strip this stuff out. Break the sensor you just spent 60 bucks on. So, okay. Barely go all the way. You'll feel it. Tight is tight. Too tight's broken. So that's a new sensor installed. So we'll plug it in, and then we'll put everything back together in the air intake. Put everything back together. All the lines, sensors and stuff. Put the battery back in, fill up the system. I'll film all that. Like I said, I want to do a step-by-step. This video is going to be long. I know it's going to be long, but I didn't see a very thorough step-by-step. Everything was like 5 minutes long and just showed you where the sensors were. Didn't really tell you much about it. So hopefully this one's a little bit more in detail. I know it's going to be long and drawn out, but that's what editing's for. So we'll see how it comes out. All right, be back in a couple minutes. All right, after it's installed, I'll get to plug it back in, obviously. No problem. There you go. Plugged in. Now's the time to double check everything. Obviously, radiator clamps, hose clamps. Make sure they're good. Yeah, everything's on. These are all plugged in, nice. It's all tucked away. That's all good. Obviously, this is for the intake, so we'll do that. I put a rust converter on this stuff last night prior to going to bed, so I just had some time to cure. It's pretty cool out right now. It's about 40 degrees in the shop, so looks like it's hardened, which is nice. So I'll do a quick dusting of some either flat black or a low gloss black, so it doesn't look horrible. Protect this from rusting anymore, and some of the other stuff too. Make sure you tighten your petcock. Obviously, you don't want to put antifreeze in and have it leak all over the ground, because that kind of defeats the purpose of doing this repair. Especially now, a lot of fluids are really expensive, including antifreeze. I remember it being cheaper than it used to be. So Bring it down here a little bit. You can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, you can see, coated this, coated some other stuff, you know, just to prevent it from rusting any further. This is like, yeah, I'm pretty good at cleaning the cars, and this is just a typical winter in the Northeast, with road salt and road debris and everything else that's on the highways. But it's a pretty clean car overall. It's not bad. It was a family owned, and they maintained it pretty well. So I took over. Needed something that was decent on fuel. So let's put this intake back on. I'll try to set you up. It's kind of hard to. All right, so let's get the tube. Put the tube back on. Pretty simple. Like I said, just double check, make sure you got all your stuff plugged in. Yep, we're good. It's all plugged in, and it's nice and tight. Slide this guy back on. Make sure your clamp's facing up so you can get to it. There's a little nipples you gotta line up with the little indent. So, like I said, you can't really miss it. Just gotta get the wiring out of the way. But, slide this on. Everything's really stiff because it's chilly. Put that on. Loosen that up a little bit, I guess. Didn't fight me coming off, but it's gonna fight me going on. Just Phillips head. I'll loosen it up a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Check the camera. Yeah, you get the idea. There we go. And like I said, you can tell it's fully seated when these like line up with that little indent. Yeah, put your breather tubes back in. Helps with these clamps because you can squeeze them. So squeeze all these back together. There's the tube, there it is. This guy goes over here. Same thing, we'll squeeze that on. Get that going nice and tight. Make sure you're already seated. This line's up there, wiring's over here. Tube's over here. And just take your time, double check everything, make sure you're not leaving stuff unplugged. Get a random check engine light for a vacuum leak or something like that, you're gonna be scratching your head going, what the heck happened? So, make sure that's all the way in, make sure this one's all the way in. Bring it up, okay. Looks good, looks good so far. See nothing obvious, nothing jumping out at me, giving me any problems. So. There's another vacuum line over here, I'll show you. And disconnected the intake. Things kind of just flop all over the place. So you got this guy right here. It goes to this. So don't forget that. And like I said, you don't want another vacuum leak for no reason. This tube lines up to there. Make sure nothing's in your throttle linkage either. The wire and like that, you want it free. Make sure it goes nice and free. Alright, that's pretty much it. Come over here and get the air filter. Might as well check your air filter. I just replaced this not that long ago, so it's pretty clean, as you can tell. I run Wicks in pretty much everything I own. Wicks oil filters and air filters. I highly recommend them. Proven time and time again that they work really well. So, I mean, self-explanatory. Up goes up. So make sure you put that in correctly. So make sure this is all good. This is all very simple stuff. You know, you don't have to have this automotive background in order to do this stuff. You know, all you gotta do is get a decent set of hand tools and start tinkering along, or look up stuff on YouTube, and I'll walk you through a lot of the processes. I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of know what I'm dealing with. Just check your wire, make sure you're good. And these old clips are nice and dry to rot it, so that's always fun. Like I said, I want to be meticulous. This is a vehicle that I drive and sometimes my wife drives. So I want to make sure that everything looks good. No major leaks or anything like that, nothing critical. We're still good to go. Air filter cover over. This is just a spring clamp, so it slides in. Same thing. The tab lines up in between these two little nipples. And then there's just 4 8mm bolts holding it down. These things. And they kind of stay in place when you take them out. So you don't have to really worry about them. And same thing, just make sure everything's clean. You're already in here taking it apart. Just clean the intake. Make sure you can even do the throttle body too. Like I said, I just did a service on this not that long ago. Threw some sea foam and some Barrowmans through it. The car runs awesome. So I'll be back a couple minutes. We're gonna put this together so you're not getting bored. I'm sure you're bored already with me mumbling on about recommendations of things, but I just want to help people out. All right, at this point, you're gonna want to put the battery back in. Make sure all your cables and hoses and plugs are tucked up where they're supposed to be, clipped in place, out of the way. Like I said, I'm gonna repaint this. I'm just gonna spritz some spray paint on there. I'm sure you don't want to see that. I think you know how to use spray paint. Just to do some rust preventative maintenance on it. This is the stuff I use for a rust converter. It's called Rust Converter Ultra. You can find it on the Jungle website, just like pretty much everything else in life. It's just pretty expensive. It's about $60 a gallon, but a gallon goes a long way. I basically did the entire underside of my Silverado with not even a quarter of a gallon. And I just put it in a old Windex spray bottle, spray it in, and then I use like just a regular paintbrush, brush it in, and then let it cure for like 24 hours. And then you can paint over it, which is nice. It's almost like a converter / primer, and you can go right over raw rust essentially. But I always scrub it real good to get all the loose flakes and stuff off. I'll do a video of that stuff if you guys are interested. It's really not too complex, and it doesn't smell bad or nothing like that. I used fluid film a couple times. Works good as well. There's nothing against fluid film. I had really good success with that, but this stuff is actually a rust converter as opposed to fluid film, which is a film that protects you from getting more rust. So I can do a video on that as well. I have all my recommendations and videos are stuff that I bought and I've used throughout several years and had pretty decent success with. I try to stay away from the scams and fads and the snake oil stuff. So if I tell you I'm using it, it's probably a pretty decent product. You don't have to take my word for it. You can just try it. Comment below if it's something you used before and you had great success with, because I have. I'm just trying to help people out, make things fun and interesting on YouTube, so. Okay, just a small recap. Touched up all the rusty areas and stuff that I recently converted. Hopefully it'll help prevent it from rusting any further. I like to use this low gloss duplicolor engine enamel. A lot of famous YouTube mechanics like it. I started using it a couple of years ago as well. It's got like ceramic coated or some miscellaneous stuff in it that supposedly makes it last a little bit longer, and I had pretty good results with it. So most of the time I just go with like a Krylon flat black. Everything can be flat black. It just makes it awesome. It's just easy to keep clean. I recommend a decent brake parts. This is basically my tool car real quick. I want to show you guys this that I got because it's pretty neat. It's OEM Tools makes this no spill coolant fill-in funnel kit. So I'm gonna put it together. It's a full kit. Comes with a whole bunch of stuff, instructions and stuff. It really wasn't that expensive. It's I figured it'd be a decent investment. I already found out which one fits the Honda and the adapter. That's why I leave them Honda. So when I throw everything back, I know which one works for the car. I'm gonna go with this Prestone all vehicles. Makes it easy, 10-year. And then I'm gonna actually funnel some of the stuff that was already in there to reuse that. Because like I said, antifreeze is getting expensive. And if I can save it, I will. That's probably not even 15,000 miles old, only because I had the coolant system flushed out at Honda a couple months ago, thinking that something was going on with the coolant with the coolant system, and it ended up being the thermostat. So that's why I wanted to do this video. So let's put this thing together. Looks pretty straightforward. Let's see if I can set you guys up so you can see. I've never done one of these before. It ain't too bad. So looks like. Here's the funnel itself. It's got this thing so you can put antifreeze in. So we'll do the adapter, goes onto there, and radiator cap, and that's basically it. So we'll put this on the radiator. We'll put this right here, and that'll stick up. And being that the car is jacked up, this is pretty much the highest point. So when we start putting antifreeze in here, we'll start the car up after I put the battery in, and you know, squeeze the hoses, trying to get all the air pockets out. I'll come back after my spray paint's dry, which should be a couple minutes, and then I'll show you the procedure and how to bleed the system, you know, with this, because like I said, this device is pretty neat. It's pretty cheap. If you plan on working on any type of cooling systems on any vehicles, I have a pretty decent tool collection at this point from collecting stuff over the years. We'll do a toolbox tour if anybody's interested. But I got, you know, the Silverado, I got the BMW, the wife's got the Audi. I got a whole bunch of different vehicles, so it's cool to have something that's universal and can fit all those different makes and models. And you can use it more than once, and it'll pay for itself in the long run. So once again, another tool recommendation. These are things that I've found very useful. You don't have to get anything. You can just do this with a rubber funnel and take your time, but this will save you the headache of doing stuff. So it was just a quick bit of the tools that I'm going to be using for this job. All right, real quick, I'm going to show you a little trick to reuse this. You can see there's some like grit in there from underneath the car. You could just use paint funnels. They're pretty decent filters. There's a fine mesh in there, and you're going to hold the filter up and then filter the antifreeze while it goes in there. I recommend using like at least 2. These paint filters are pretty cheap. You can get like 100 of them for like $5. Something ridiculous. I use them all the time. I use them to filter fluids and liquids and things I'm going to reuse. Like I said, this antifreeze isn't that old, and I know it's in decent shape. I already put half a gallon in the system. I'm waiting for the paint to still dry, so I'll do that off camera because it's very simple. You know, just filter it into a clean bucket so it's ready to go. And then I got this little pump, once again off the Jungle website. It's pretty handy. My star of the episode. What's up, buddy? What do you want to do? You want to play? We'll play in a little bit, I promise. So I'll put you guys back on pause, and then I'll filter this out, get the ball rolling on that. Filter the coolant. You can see all the stuff that was already in there. So yeah, that's why you filter it. So you know, all this crap going in your coolant system. So that's real quick. Just wanted to show you that. All right, battery's back in. Hoses are back on. Everything's clipped in place. Threw a gallon of antifreeze in just to get the ball rolling. Start to fill up the radiator. This is the stuff I'm using. Should work pretty good. The original stuff, I think it was blue, so obviously this was replaced at one point in time because it's green, which is fine. You can go to green as long as you flush out the system. I didn't notice any real corrosion, I think, unusual in the system. Just a little bit around the housing, but that's just from road salt and all the road crap. So like I said, I put about a gallon in here, squeeze the hoses, engine's cold. Now we start it up, get it up to operating temperature, and then you'll see all the bubbles start coming up, and some of those antifreeze will come down. When the thermostat actually opens and these fans kick on, you'll see a big rush of air come out, probably like just a little bit of an air pocket. As soon as you start the vehicle, put your heat on max, put your fan on like medium or medium to high, just so it's circulating real well. And that's pretty much how you bleed the system. It's going to take at least 15-20 minutes. It's about 40-45 degrees outside right now here in the garage, so I'm probably going to put something in front of the radiator, help heat it up a little bit, just some cardboard or piece of carpet or something. So I'm going to start the car up and let it run, basically. Now we just let it run. So keep an eye on this. You'll see bubbles coming up. I squeeze the hoses a little bit just to help it out. Massage some of the air out of the system. I don't know if you can hear me over the car running. I'll try to talk a little bit louder. But now's a good time with it circulating. Obviously the water pump's circulating. Check for leaks. Make sure you got the hoses on real good, got the clamps on real good. You don't have any antifreeze leaks. Everything's dry down here, which looks good. So make sure everything looks well. I'm gonna let this run. I'll turn you guys back on when everything's circulating real well. All right, car's been running for about 5 minutes. It's starting to get warm. I'm starting to get like a 90, 95 degree discharge from the vents, which is good. So I'll keep an eye on it. I'll wait for the fan to kick on so I know that everything's up to operating temperature. I'll keep an eye on the thermostat on the inside on the actual gauge cluster. Also, if you're impatient or you just want to, like, you know, get the ball rolling on things, you can actually go in and rev the engine up a little bit. I don't recommend doing that with the engine cold. Like I said, this has been running for about 5 minutes now. So you can go in, you know, like I said, obviously your heat's gonna be on. Heat's on max. Heat's on max. I got this like medium to high. Got on recirc to help it out. I'm already getting like almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit out of the vents, so it's getting warm, which is good. And you can see it's starting to creep up. My gauge is starting to creep up. I didn't have that. It just stayed at cold the whole time, so obviously it's starting to work. That's a good sign. But like I said, you can put your foot on the gas, or you can do it manually up there at the throttle body. Bring it up like 2,000, you know, 2,500 RPMs. Hold it there for a little bit. I don't know if you can see the funnel. I could see it through the windshield, so I could actually see the bubbles coming out. You can hold it there for 30, 40 seconds, and you just let it come down. And then just a little quick tip to get things heated a little quicker. While you're waiting, since you have a couple minutes for your car to get up to operating temp, now you can turn your stereo back on, put in your security code, put all your stations back to normal too. Just wanted to let you guys know there's always something to do instead of just sitting there waiting for a car to heat up for 20 minutes. You can do some inspection under the hood, or, you know, look at something else instead of just sitting there doing nothing. All right, getting close to operational temp, which is the middle of the temperature gauge. This is working good. So my temperature sensor, my ECT that I put in, is brand new and working great. Awesome. Getting almost 140 degree discharge out of the vents. So nice and hot, which is nice. Nice warm air. So those fans, that one fan should be kicking on soon. As soon as those fans start kicking on, like I said, they'll switch on. I don't know, but in the meantime, while I'm waiting, just take the upper radiator hose. It's warm to the touch, but you know, you can put your hand on it. You're not going to burn yourself. And you'll see it if I actually, you know, if I massage it a little bit, just squeeze it in and out. See there? Oh, see, there you go. See the little air bubbles coming out? That's what you want to do. You want to get all these air bubbles out. You don't want any pockets, because those pockets will wreak havoc. You'll be wondering why you have intermittent heating issues. So I'm just squeezing it. That's it. Nothing crazy. Take your time. So you're gonna do that. Obviously you'll get a lot more coming out. When this fan opens up, your thermostat is basically starting to open. Your temperature sensor and all that stuff will, you know, ran through the ECU, tells you that stuff. Like I said before, you can rev your engine a little bit, get it up like 2,500 RPMs, or you can do it right here with your throttle body. You know, you can rev it up a little bit. Don't go crazy, just a little bit, just to circulate your cooling system. And you'll see bubbles come up into this funnel too by doing it that way. So just little tips, help it out. Like I said, it's boring watching the car sit here and idle, but I get too antsy and I start playing with stuff, and I'm inspecting everything. Top off all my fluids and stuff, might as well. Keep an eye on stuff. Run it through the gears, make sure the transmission's acting good. These V6 transmissions are notorious for having issues. I'll probably do a video on that, because this one's starting to act up. 144,000 miles on the car. You know, 20 plus years old. I'm not surprised, but you know, car's in great shape overall, so I like to keep it on the road. Trying everything I can to keep it on the road for as long as I can, because it's a nice car. I don't really want to, you know, get rid of it just because it's little finicky issues. But that's it. That's the update for now. I'll check back in with you guys as soon as the fan kicks on. I'll show you how to, you know, like I said, you're just massaging the hoses a little bit, just getting all the air pockets out. All right. As you can see, the fans came on. So now we're up operating temperature. Everything looks good. Blood the system. Now we can take the Honda for a drive. Bring it off the jack stands, obviously. Sounds good. That's pretty much going to do it for the Honda for now. I'm sure you'll see it again. I'm going to obviously daily drive it, put miles on it. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, likes, comments, make sure you subscribe. Let me know if you have any issues. It's pretty straightforward. And that should be a wrap. Have a good day.